If you are learning how to conjugate Russian verbs, this video is required watching. You'll never master Russian verb conjugation unless you know the information I'm sharing in this video. And this is not clickbait. Let me just tell you that Russian verb conjugation is not just about the first and second conjugations. In reality, there are 40 conjugation patterns that you need to know. If you've never heard about this before, I don't blame you because grammar books normally don't explain this. In this video, I'm going to tell you the whole truth about the Russian verb conjugation system. This is going to open a whole new world to you. Keep watching. If you're currently struggling with how to conjugate Russian verbs, I'm pretty sure I know the reason for that. Hint, it's not you, it's them. The thing is, Russian grammar books don't give you all the information you need about the Russian verb conjugation system in order to piece it all together and understand how the system works. Let me prove it to you. You already know that there are the first and second conjugations in the Russian language, right? You know that each of the two conjugations requires a specific set of verb endings. If you are really serious about learning Russian, you've probably even learned those endings by heart. And yet, you're struggling with conjugating Russian verbs because you've probably already noticed it's not enough to just know the endings and hook them to the verb. Grammar books teach you that to conjugate any Russian verb, you need to take 3 simple steps. Step 1. Decide whether the verb belongs to the first or second conjugation to know the verb endings. Step 2. Remove the final part of the verb to get to the verb stem. Usually it's the infinitive ending alone or with several preceding letters. And step 3, hook the right conjugation ending to the verb stem from the previous step. If it's just that easy, why are you still struggling with Russian verb conjugation? What makes Russian verb conjugation so frustrating is that the stem of the verb may undergo various changes, usually involving the final consonant. This is called consonant mutation or alternation. So, the most difficult part about conjugating Russian verbs is not knowing which of the two conjugations it belongs to, or the right conjugation endings. That's actually quite straightforward. The real difficulty is being able to find the stem of the verb that you later have to hook the endings to. And here is the truth that grammar books don't tell you. There are 40 conjugation patterns in the Russian language. Not 2, but 40. Each pattern follows its own conjugation step and requires a specific stem mutation or alternation. Some of these 40 patterns require the first conjugation endings, while others require second conjugation endings. I know all this sounds strange when you hear it for the first time, but let me show you a few examples. Most Russian language learners think that verbs like moch, идти, тереть, жить, or писать are irregular. And I'm telling you that they are very regular and follow regular, very predictable conjugation patterns. Moch follows one of those 40 regular patterns. To conjugate it correctly, you need to mutate the stem in a particular way and then hook the endings. To show you that it's really a pattern, not just a one-off thing, look at these other verbs that conjugate exactly like moch. They require exactly the same stem mutation and the same endings. The same for the verb идти. It also follows a very regular and predictable conjugation pattern. It's a different pattern from the verb much, and it requires a different stem mutation, but again, it's a pattern, and there are many other verbs that follow exactly the same pattern and conjugate exactly the same way. Same for the verbs tirit, jit, and pisat. Most students call them irregular, but they are very regular and follow very specific and predictable conjugation patterns. Again, there are 40 patterns like this. Once you know each and every of these patterns, you'll be unstoppable at Russian verb conjugation. Knowing these patterns will be a game changer for you in your Russian studies. I know it feels overwhelming when you hear about all these conjugation patterns for the first time, especially when you thought there were only the first and second conjugations in the Russian language. To give you more clarity about how all this works, I've recorded a free training that goes into much more detail about these 40 conjugation patterns, how to learn them, and how to apply them. In the training, I also share the absolute best way to learn Russian verb conjugations so that you can remember the right verb forms easily, automatically, and without even thinking. It's almost an hour-long training. Again, it's free, the link is in the description. As soon as you sign up, you can immediately watch the training, no waiting required. The main goal of the training is to give you an easy-to-follow, step-by-step plan to master Russian verbs and verb conjugations so you can easily conjugate any given Russian verb and remember the right verb forms within a few seconds. I'll see you there!